Namaskar दोस्तों, very warm welcome to all of you in the series of discussion on various issues in GST refund. Today's topic of refund specific case study is refund in case of excess payment of taxes. I'll just read the basic case study and then we will discuss the related provisions. So PQR Limited, a software company, was engaged in development of supply of various healthcare sector related system integration softwares for the year 2018-19. A liability of 7 lakh, that is CGST 3.5 and SGST 3.5 lakh, was missed to be furnished and paid and remained unpaid in GSTR 3B of February 2019. So a liability is short paid in the year 2018-19. Further, the company paid this in the month of September 2019 along with the GSTR 3B of the said month with the help of ITC and cash proportionality. So they have paid it subsequently along with the GSTR 3B of September 2019, which is an allowable limit. At the time of filing GSTR 9, it again missed the disclosure in the table 10 and 14. Now, table 10 and table 14 are basically those areas where at the time of filing annual return, the taxpayer furnishes the details of various liabilities or input tax credits. If you consider 10 to 14, all the tables, whatever liabilities or input tax credit that he has missed taking or furnishing in the GSTR 3Bs of the respective year, but he has claimed it or paid it in the period starting from 1st April of the next year till the return filing period of September 2000, whatever next year's September 2009, in this case 19, then all such details are furnished in table 10 and table 14. But the taxpayer here has missed that because this happens quite a lot of times if the records are not properly kept. Hence, the auditor, while reconciling the figures, again asked them to pay the said amount with interest, and they also agreed and paid that in the February 2020 DRC 03 at the time of audit. So auditor find out and he noted that this much amount needs to be paid, that is 7 lakh rupees along with the interest. So they paid it in DRC 03. So while reconciling the figure of 1920, they realized that the error was noticed and the company hence wants to file a refund application immediately in April 2020 because they realized that September looks higher payment. So what was this payment? Oh, that was related to the earlier year 18-19. And was it disclosed in the annual return? The answer was no. So whether application of refund of taxes paid in September 2019 should be filed or refund of taxes paid in DRC 03 should be filed, which is appropriate? So which refund application to which period filing would be appropriate? Assuming the company filed an application of refund in the category excess payment of tax, for the payment of September 2019 payment through GSTR 3B, the officer issued deficiency memo stating the reason that there is no debit to electronic cash ledger when the refund is applied for. So whether the stand taken by the officer is appropriate in this case. And finally, assuming the company wants to apply the refund of the taxes paid through DRC 3, which category to apply on the common portal, that is excess payment of tax or others category? And will your answer differ if the total liability discharged in the month of February 2020 is nil? So let us try to understand this case first and find out the possible solutions. As far as the term excess payment of taxes is concerned, there is no clear guidance in law which governs any scenario or any specific situation. But there can be various scenarios under this category. To give some illustration, let's say instead of rupees 5,500, 55,000 is paid as a tax. So there is a case of excess payment of taxes. Further, let's take an example where CGST of 10,000 was required to be paid, but SGST of rupees 10,000 is paid. That is excess payment of tax. Excess payment of provisional assessment, where the final assessment is at the time of final assessment, it gets realized that the tax paid is higher. So that is again excess payment of tax. For taxpayers like this non-residential taxable person or temporary taxable person, for them, they are required to pay tax in advance, and post the return, whatever excess payment they have to claim back. So that is probably the deposit in the excess deposit or excess balance in the cash ledger that they want to claim, that cannot be treated as excess payment of tax as such, but that is excess balance in the electronic cash ledger. That is a different scenario. Any other scenario where the taxes were paid but not required to be paid. Now this covers a lot of permutation combination again, where the taxes were not required to be paid but paid. The example would be invoices or taxes in the invoices are charged at a higher amount, and this particular scenario can be treated through issuance of credit note as per section 3334 of CGST Act, wherein a credit note to that effect can be issued. But while issuing the credit note, one has to keep in mind that the credit note in GST regime can be only issued if the specified conditions under section 3334 are satisfied, and not in any other circumstances. So that may be, you know, higher taxes charged, higher invoice charge than the rate agreed, or the material is rejected, or the service is not provided, or the service is deficient, etc., etc. And there is a mechanism wherein the refund can be obtained through issuance of credit note, though actual refund needs requires to be applied for. But this way the adjustment can be done. Then any order where there is a dispute of taxes, and that order results into refund of taxes, maybe by appellate authority or tribunal in future. So all these scenarios may be considered as excess payment of taxes, which results into possibility of refund in every scenario. In the illustration that we have given, where the facts are given, the taxes are not paid initially at the time of filing GST 3B of February 19, but those have been paid along with the 3B of September 2019, which is an allowable limit. Also, these taxes were paid at the time of GST audit again in the month of February 2020 through DRC 03. So this practically has happened in multiple cases where these records are not kept in such a manner that those are traceable or collectible at respective time wherever it is required. So the entire flow of compliance of activities was not known in the beginning, and hence erroneously people have paid 2 times taxes, maybe at 3 times also sometimes in some cases, and have realized it later, and then felt the requirement of going for a refund. So PQR Limited in our case wants to apply for a refund now of the taxes paid with the 2 possible scenarios. Option 1, the payment made through GSTR 3B is to be treated as excess payment of taxes for the month of September 2019 and apply for the refund. So in this scenario, what we are doing is whatever taxes paid through DRC 03 along with interest. Now interest is also a very good determining factor. I will discuss about it in a while. So we are here in this option, we are treating DRC 03 payment as appropriate and matching with your GSTR 99C, and treating the payment which was earlier done in the September 2019 as excess payment of the month September 2019, and applying for the period of September 2019 as a refund of excess payment of tax. So that is one important option. The another option is treating the September payment is appropriate and pertaining to year 2019-20 itself, and applying the refund for DRC 03 payment, which is done in February. So the application will be for the period of February 2020, maybe for any other category, how we will discuss in a while. But the payment through DRC 3 will be rendered to be inappropriate. Also, this will be a contradiction to GSTR 9 and 9C, where there is no express provision to rectify or revise these 9 and 9C. So that may be an option which one would not want to go for. But considering the interest, because for February payment, they might have paid the interest till February, and for September till September. So excess payment, excess interest is paid for the remaining period, which requires to be, which is, required to be claimed as a refund. So as far as this appropriateness is concerned, whether option 1 is appropriate or 2 is appropriate with respect to provisions of refund are concerned, both options are available to PQR. But from the perspective of practical fallouts, choosing option 1 sounds logical, as in option 2 there is a mismatch with 9 and 9C, which is not curable, and probably in future it might result into keeping a lot of reconciliation for the possible inquiry from the department or the authority side. Further important point to note here is that when the application of refund is to be filed in option number 2, the category selection in RFD 01, that is application of refund, as excess payment of taxes may not be possible, and PQR Limited will have to opt for any other category. The reason being, for excess payment of taxes, the cross check is there in the system of GST network, that the amount of refund claim should be equal to or to the liability, equal or greater, equal or lesser than the liability paid for the respective period in GSTR 3B. So respective period of February, the second option is February 2020. In our example, it is given that the liability discharge in February is nil. So the system will technically not allow one to file the application in the category of excess payment of tax, because it excess payment of tax they necessarily compare with the payment of taxes made through GSTR 3B and not otherwise. And hence, in our example question C, it is given that the actual tax paid in GSTR 3B is 0. So the system will not allow them, with an error that amount of payment of taxes is lesser than the amount of refund claim. So any other category needs to be chosen. It is a safer bet, especially when the law is at a nascent stage. Selecting an appropriate category is of extreme important, because it is the cases might not be common in such categories, and any other category would be should be suggested. So the procedure now, this as it has been mentioned that the officer has issued RFD 03. So I just want to just touch base the entire process of refund sanctioning, wherein an online application is initiated and filed on GST network, where immediately an ARN is generated, application reference number, on the submission of application, and immediately based on the type or category of the refund, respective amount is debited in the electronic credit ledger. So if it is accumulated ITC, then probably there will be a debit. For a category such as this excess payment of tax, there won't be any debit, because the payment has already been made by debiting whatever cash or credit ledger. Then if the application is complete in all respects as per the scrutiny of officer, principal scrutiny I would say, RFD 2 will be issued as an acknowledgement of the receipt, and this has to be done within 15 days. But if the officer thinks that the documents are not complete in all respects, then he may also issue RFD 3, which is a deficiency memo stating the reasons of issuing the deficiency, whatever is the deficiency. So he need not scrutinize the entire refund application, but he may check completeness of the documents, etc. Because further we will see that there is an option given to the officer to issue a show cause notice if there are any discrepancies, etc. But this is a primary scrutiny, and wherein if the completeness, etc., is not ensured by the taxpayer, he may issue the RFD 03. The question is, can an officer issue multiple times RFD? So abhi application, once the application is filed, then RFD 3 it is, because see, the response to RFD is filing a fresh application. There is no way in which the RFD 3 can be responded or replied, or it is not an order wherein it cannot be appealed. So it may be tedious at times for the taxpayer to keep on responding. So can an officer issue multiple RFD 3s for the same application? I mean, one application, then RFD 3, then another fresh application, then again RFD 3. There is a judgment in case of Gian International versus Principal Commissioner of GST 2020, Delhi High Court, wherein if the proper it has been declared that if proper officer fails to issue the application is deemed to be acknowledged, if the department will fail to issue RFD 2 or RFD 3, then cannot issue RFD 3 after 15 days. So after 15 days they cannot issue, but within 15 days can they issue multiple times? The answer is yes. They can do it, but not. But there is a specific point which one needs to keep in mind, that as per circular number 125 by 2019, para 11, once the application has been submitted afresh pursuant to a deficiency memo, the proper officer will not serve another deficiency memo with respect to the same application for same period unless the deficiency pointed out in the original deficiency memo remain unrectified. So if the DRC03 is genuine, RFD03 is genuine and there is an error, then the taxpayer rectifies that error. But if it doesn't rectify, he may issue the deficiency memo again, but not, if that has been rectified, then he cannot issue the deficiency memo unless there is a substantial deficiency, which is again noted by the officer. So it depends upon case to case basically. And also it consumes a lot of time because a fresh application needs to be submitted again, etc. So whether the time limit starts from the fresh application made or the original application, because every application under GST regime is time barring as far as refund is concerned. So the period of 2 years from the relevant date, how to calculate? So there is a new notification 15 by 2021, wherein rule 93 with effect from 18th May 2021 is amended to say that provided that the time period from the date of filing of the refund claim in RFD1 till the date of communication of deficiencies in RFD3 by the proper officer shall be excluded from the period of 2 years. So there is a little relief which has been given. A writ petition was filed in Delhi High Court also in case of Incitel Services Private Limited, wherein fresh application post RFD3 should not be considered a fresh for two reasons. One is for limitation period and second is for interest calculation. For limitation period, we have got the notification. For interest calculation, I don't think there is any notification as of yet. Then in the process, RFD4 is issued, which is a provisional refund. So in case of zero rated supply of goods or services, within 7 days of acknowledgement of refund, that is RFD2. So total 15 days for issuance of RFD2 and then 7 days from the RFD2, total in 22 days, this provisional refund needs to be granted. So against an undertaking which needs to be submitted, furnished by the taxpayer, which says that there is no prosecution of offenses for last 5 years, which is an offense amounting to rupees 2.5 crore or more. And how much should be the refund which should be provisionally sanctioned or approved? Usually it is 90% of the refund claimed, but as per the section 54(6) with rule 91, but the officer can use his discretion based on the merits of the case to process even lesser amount. So as per circular 125/44, doubts were raised whether provisional refund would be given even for a lesser amount, etc. Then it was said that he may consider a lesser amount. Then RFD 8, wherein a show cause notice is issued if any part or if the officer thinks that any part or full amount needs to be it's not eligible to be given as a refund, which has to be replied within 15 days in RFD 09 again. And then final order RFD 6 is issued. So final order may be RFD 6 may be positive, may be negative. And this has to be done within 60 days from the generation of ARN. Otherwise, there is a 6% of interest provision. So RFD 6, after the response in RFD 9 to the show cause, may be an entire order. The only expectation is that the order should, fulfill all the principles of natural justice and should be mentioning all the reasons of rejection, or if it is accepted, then there is no issue. But if it is rejected, then it should mention all the reasons, etc. In the present case, in the case study that we saw, the deficiency memo has been issued in RFD 03. And the reason which is stated that there is no debit to the electronic cash ledger when the refund is applied for. It is said by the officer. So probably he has seen, if let's say September refund is claimed and September they see February refund is claimed, and in February they see that there is no liability. So obviously the application is made from any other category, etc. And there is no debit to any cash ledger or credit ledger. So they may see in the September this thing case, because it specifically, let me just go to the case once again. Assuming that the company has filed an application of refund in the category excess payment of taxes for the payment of September 2019, payment through GST or 3B, the officer issues deficiency memo stating that there is no debit to the electronic cash ledger when the refund is applied for, whether the stand taken by officer is correct. So probably in the month of September, whatever the liability was there must have been offset along with the electronic credit ledger, the balance available in electronic credit ledger. And based on that, the officer must have issued this RFD 03. But if we go to the circular number 125, it clarifies, 135 rather, it clarifies that the issues which were raised in such manner have been clarified. This circular 135 is again issued on 31st March 2020, which says for the refund of tax paid falling in the said category, that category means other than zero rated supply, okay, because that is a heading. No separate debit of ITC from electronic credit ledger is required to be made by the applicant at the time of filing refund claim, being claim of tax already paid. However, the total tax would have been normally paid by the applicant by debiting tax amount from both electronic credit ledger or electronic cash ledger. At present, in these cases, the amount of admissible refund is paid in cash even when such payment of taxes or any part thereof has been made through ITC. Also, the amendment to CGST rule is read as follows: 91A, 92(1)(a), where upon examination of the application of refund of any amount paid as tax other than the refund of tax paid on zero rated supplies or deemed export, the proper officer is satisfied that a refund under section 54(5) is due and payable to the applicant, he shall make an order in RFD 06 sanctioning the amount of refund to be paid in cash proportionate to the amount debited in cash against the total amount paid for discharging the tax liability for the relevant period, mentioning therein the amount adjusted against any outstanding demand under the act or under any existing law, and the balance amount refundable for the remaining amount which has been debited from the electronic credit ledger for making payment of such tax. The proper officer shall issue form GST PMT 03 recrediting the said amount to ITC. So in the given case, the clarity over the issue raised by the officer is already given through the circular, which says if at the time of making payment of this extra tax, because this is the excess tax paid, if the original excess tax is paid through cash ledger, then again the amount should be paid in cash. If it is through electronic credit ledger, then electronic credit ledger should be given that excess credit. So that is pretty much clear. So depending upon which period it applies, it will actually the recredit will happen. Assuming the company wants to apply the refund paid through tax, which category we discussed this category? Excess payment of, will your answer differ if the total liability discharge in GST 3B for the month of February 2020 is nil? Now, in this category, considering this RFD 03, this February nil liability means everything will get credited to the electronic credit ledger because there is no cash payment as such. Cash payment made through cash payment which is deposited and paid through RFD 03 probably may not be considered by the officers in this case, because they say that there is no debit to the cash ledger. But if that scenario is only respected to the September 2019 refund application, means option 1, then there is a clear cut clarity from circular 135 that proportionate recredit either in cash or in electronic credit ledger should be made. So depending upon this option, one needs to approach. So that was it from my side in case of the overall refund sanctioning process as well as the excess payment of taxes case study under our series of GST refund issues. I hope you would have liked this video. If you do, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. Thank you so much.